Have you heard? It's truck news.
No! The Truck Show. We're gonna show you what we know. We're gonna answer what the truck. 'Cause truck rhymes with the Truck Show. We have the lifted, we have the lowered, and everything in between. We'll talk about trucks that run on diesel, electricity, and on gasoline. The Truck Show, the Truck Show, the Truck Show. Oh, oh.
It's the Truck Show with your host, Holman.
The Truck Show podcast is brought to you by the following sponsors. AMSOIL launched the industry's first synthetic motor oil back in 1972, and AMSOIL continues to innovate with a wide selection of synthetics that are formulated, blended, and packaged right here in the United States. These specialized lubricants are engineered for what you drive and how you drive. AMSOIL's Shop by Vehicle tool offers package size recommendations to maximize savings and includes AMSOIL's Ultimate Oil Change Kits. AMSOIL offers the protection you demand and the performance you deserve. Get yours today at AMSOIL.com. Nissan has the right truck or family hauler for your needs, along with legendary Nissan durability. Test drive a Frontier or Armada at a local dealer today, or point your browser to NissanUSA.com, where you can use the build and price tool to configure a Nissan that fits your lifestyle. The perfect complement to your truck is a Kershaw knife. All Kershaw knives come with a limited lifetime warranty, and repair parts are readily available through the website. Kershaw knives include lifetime sharpening, and the lineup has everything from EDC knives that can be used and abused for under $50, all the way up to high-end collectibles. Thanks to our generous partnership with Kershaw Knives, Truck Show podcast listeners can get 40% off MSRP and free shipping over $50 by using the code 2540TSP now going forward. It can be used more than once and even includes automatics. Visit Kershaw.kiusa.com today. UEM Pistons is one of the few companies that's been in business for over 100 years. Founded in 1922, UEM continues on today, owned and run by the fourth generation of the family that founded them. We especially like the company's dual-alloy line of diesel pistons, which are cast and machined in-house to maintain the highest level of quality and consistency. Dual-alloy pistons are available for most popular diesel light and medium-duty trucks, and you can find your diesel replacement pistons today at uempistons.com. When it comes to amazing vehicle-based adventure content, how-tos, and great storytelling, only one brand is doing it right in the print magazine space, and that's OVR, Outdoor Vehicle Recreation. OVR is about getting out there in our vehicles to explore and discover the world around us. Get complimentary access for a year to the digital library or a discount on your print subscription today at OVRmag.com. Use the promotional code @TruckShowPodcast. The Truck Show podcast survives off sponsorships and your reviews. Please help me to keep it free by supporting our sponsors and leaving reviews and comments on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Have you heard?
No.
Well, if not, I'm going to tell you. And we'll get right into the good, juicy part of the news for this week. And that is Ford just unleashed a truck that I think is the truck that I want. The truck that I would buy tomorrow. The truck that fits all the needs that I think I need. Except you can't get it here. And I'm talking about the brand new Ranger Super Duty.
Right.
No, it's true. I said it. It's the Ford Ranger Super Duty coming for 2026.
Wow.
So why is this great news for truck owners? Well, if you're in Australia, it's great news. So as you know, there isn't a Ford F-150 or a Super Duty in other parts of the world. The Ranger in a lot of places is Ford's biggest truck. So Ford went back to the drawing board and said, you know what? We need a Ranger with Super Duty capability, or at least something close to that in a midsize package. And Ford dropped the photos and the info this week, and I'm blown away. For me, I look at the Ranger lineup, and I like it. But I feel like it's a little bit missing, except for the Ranger Raptor. The Ranger Raptor is the truck that, if I was going to go buy a midsize, it would be right there on my list. If I wanted a high-performance truck, it would be right there. There's a lot of options in that space right now. So if I was going to look at a mid-size trucks today, and I talked about a used Super Duty, and I love the idea of a Raptor, especially at the starting price of $55,820. It would definitely be on my consideration list, right? It's about $10,000 more than, let's say, a Nissan Frontier Pro 4X, but it's less than a TRD Pro Tacoma around 67, 68, or Chevy Colorado Bison Edition with AEV, which is around 68, 69. It's really in that sweet space in between, right? And it gives you a ton of off-road capability. But I look at it and I'm like, I already have my Jeep. I want a midsize pickup truck. I want some performance with it, but it probably can't tow everything I want it to. I need a bigger truck. I don't necessarily want a bigger truck. Let me put it this way. For an edge case, for the times that I would need that bigger truck, I feel like that's like 5% of the time. I need to move something at the property. I need to tow a project vehicle. I need to, fill up the bed, extra payload. And the Raptor, because it's off-road performance oriented, it doesn't have all those numbers where I think I would want it if I had a one truck that had to do it all. So I would look at, a used Super D, because Super Ds are expensive, but I don't necessarily need a full-size truck for everything. Parking and storing and all that kind of stuff. And it's just big. So then what would I get? I love the idea of a Nissan Frontier at about $43,000, $44,000 with an off-road package. And I already have the Jeep, so I don't need like an insane off-road package. What I need is more truck capability. Well, I'm looking at this thing and I'm like, oh, box checked. Oh, box checked. Oh, I didn't even think about that. And it is really freaking awesome. So let me run down the specs of this thing. It looks like the toughest Ranger ever. It's got a steel bumper. The grill is super beefy. It's got big trapezoidal wheel flares on it. It's got a track width that's about as wide as a Raptor. And it has 8 lug wheels. And it just looks mean. You can even get big towing mirrors on it. And I'm looking at this truck and I'm going, man, it's the right size. It looks good. What's the capability? Well, get an upgraded frame, reinforced suspension mounts, heavy-duty rear axle. You get full steel skid plates, steel bumpers, 33-inch off-road tires. These are, I think, Generals is what they're coming from the factory. And it's lifted a little bit. It's got the extended track width. It's got the aluminum lower control arms, the big beefy ones that look like they came straight from the Raptor catalog. And you can get it with a 34-gallon fuel tank. You can get it in the single cab chassis, super and double cab chassis, and a double cab pickup. So power on this is the 3-liter turbo diesel V6. So that's not available here in the States. So I would imagine in the States you might get, let's say, the 3-liter Raptor V6, which I would be fine with. The diesel does get about 247 horsepower and 443 pound-feet of torque, which sounds awesome, but I don't think it would ever pass muster here in terms of emissions and things like that. Now, it has a snorkel from the factory. And check this out. A mid-size pickup truck capable of towing 9,921 pounds. That's 2,000 more than the best Ranger today. And it's even more than a base F-150, which is around 8,200 pounds. I mean, the gross combined weight rating is around 17,500 pounds. It's sort of the mid-range between F-150 and an F-250. So I don't know what the payload is yet on it, but it does have scales on board. So it uses sensors that will inform the driver how much weight's in there. So that's super useful. And it'll be on sale in 2026, but only in Australia. What a bummer. Ford, bring this truck here. If that truck came here, I would be all over it. I'm so impressed. Like it makes the Ranger look tough. The capability is there, and it's a great looking truck. There's also some modifications to the interior, like a mount for accessories for like a laptop, things like that. And it has, all the normal stuff. So you get the 12-inch screen, you get the overhead console with the auxiliary switches, that integrated device mounting system. That integrated device mounting system can hold almost 9 pounds, and it clears the passenger airbag area. So other features, it still has the ADAS, parking aids, 360-degree camera, blind spot monitoring with trailer coverage, forward collision warning, auto braking, all that stuff that you would expect on a modern pickup truck. When's it coming to the U.S. again, Ford? Please? Oh, it's not? Boo! Come on, Ford, please. Please bring this truck to the United States. Please? So when I reached out to Ford, I said, Ford, please, bring this truck to the United States, please.
We are deeply sorry. We're sorry. We're sorry. We're sorry.
That was the response. And then, of course, I said,
Okay, explain to me exactly what I did wrong.
I mean, a heavy-duty truck in a mid-size package? I mean, I think they nailed the formula. I think it looks freaking awesome. I think it is the perfect size. I think the capability is there. And it would be the perfect truck to take, to your property, to your ranch, to wherever, move things around. So anyway, you guys should go check this thing out. Just Google 26 Ford Ranger Super Duty. I'll throw some photos up at Truck Show Podcast on our socials. But tell me this isn't the perfect Ranger. Fight me. Fight me on this. And especially if this truck was the same price as, say, a Ranger Raptor in the mid-50s. I mean, tires, lift, axles, suspension, track width. It's all the things. It's all the things that you want. And yet, we can't even get it. Ford, it's America. We're the truck people. Like bring that to us, please. Anyway, I'm sure after hearing this podcast, Ford is just going to tell me,
"You get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir."
But I don't want to lose. I want to buy this truck. I mean, it's awesome. Please, one last time, Ford Ranger Super Duty. Please. What do you guys think? Truckshowpodcast@gmail.com. Would you buy a mid-sized pickup truck with that level of capability? Let me know. But I get it. Ford probably doesn't want to eat into F-150 and Super Duty sales, so I get it. But what if they created a truck buyer with this particular truck? What if it didn't cannibalize a new Super Duty or a new F-150? I mean, I want it. Speaking of Australia, Ram Trucks Australia's general manager, Jeff Barber, said that the range-extended Ram Ramcharger is better suited for Australia than the EV trucks. He did an interview with CarExpert.au during the launch of the 2025 Ram 1500 down there. And he said that the electrified Ram pickup truck has not been confirmed for Australia, but if there is one, he wants it to be the Ramcharger. He says, and I quote, "Yes, definitely, I think Ramcharger is better suited to our geography here. It's too early to say whether we'll bring it to market. It's something we're looking at right now, but I personally think the Ramcharger is a better solution than the battery electric vehicle because of range anxiety." He continued, "People buy these vehicles to drive them long distances, to tow large boats, and a BEV, battery electric vehicle, may not be suited to that, particularly not in the rural sector. Ramcharger is very, very interesting. It overcomes that range anxiety, particularly for long distance driving." And I would say that truck is suited for Australia the same way it's suited for the United States market because of the vast distances in Australia. And I think that makes a lot of sense. So will Australia get a Ramcharger? I don't know. But to all of our Australian fans out there, please tell me what you think about the Ramcharger, if you're interested in that, or if you're all about the Ranger Super Duty. That's going to be the theme in this show is tell me more about the Ranger Super Duty. We reported a few weeks ago that a special color was coming to Jeep, and that was the return of Mojito. And on 4x4 Day, April 4th, Jeep announced another color coming, and the color's not that spectacular. Well, I mean, it is. If you like orange. Looks like Caltrans orange if you're here in California, but it's orange. It's an orange vehicle. The best thing about it is it's called Juice, which is awesome. It's literally spelled like that. So remember, we used to have Pumpkin, which was the old pumpkin color, and Juice spelled Joose will replace that. So anyway, if you want a orange JL or JT, get yourself some Juice. On the EV front, Tesla basically removed the really cool range-extending bed battery from their configurator. So this battery add-on has been talked about by Tesla for some time now. It was $16,000, but it was never released. And you could replace a non-refundable deposit of $2,000 if you wanted to reserve one, but it was basically delayed. They said that the range was somewhere around 15% more with that installed, and $16,000 worth that. It would have increased the Cybertruck's range to around 450 miles or so, with production that was supposed to start sometime in the middle of this year. But that's no longer the case. At least it's not on the website anymore. So what that means for the Cybertruck customer, and if the range extender is coming, or if it's just quietly being pushed to the side for more development, we don't know yet. But I thought it was a cool idea. I'm still a fan of the idea of a digital jerry can. And that would be a onboard battery that could be daisy chained. And you could have a few of them. You could plug it in and get extra range for overland trips and things like that. I think that makes a lot of sense because you wouldn't have to carry it all the time, but you could use it when you wanted to. But nobody's really come up with a solution quite yet. There's a lot of patents and people talking about it, but nothing coming to fruition just yet. I mean, the EV market is so volatile right now in terms of the technology. It seems like one week you get some great news about some new product and then it goes away, and then another week you get some other cool idea. There's a lot of ideas. There's a lot of vaporware floating around out there, a lot of conversation pieces. But guys, I want to start seeing stuff come to the truck market. Also with EVs, at the recent dealer meeting, Kia's CEO Ho Sung Song said that the company is seriously studying a truck for the United States. And no, it won't be the crazy-looking Tasman, although Kia basically has a new Tasman model called the Weekender, and it is like super butched up and looks, I mean, it looks like a Lego truck. So, we've talked about it before, but this has like a external rack on it, and the way the fender flares are, it's got, big 35-inch BFG tires on it. It definitely looks like it's the basis for an overlanding vehicle, but that's not what we're going to get here because the Tasman was never intended for the U.S. market. It seems like what we would get here is potentially an EV pickup. And if it's an EV pickup, because of the tariffs that are being bandied about right now, it looks like it would have to be built here. Kia does have a new plant in Georgia, and they said they're looking at it. It hasn't been confirmed yet, but they really want to get into the pickup truck space. It doesn't look like it'll be a full size. It looks like it'll be something more in line with the Tacoma and Ranger and Frontier in the midsize class. So more remains to be seen about what happens and if Kia brings a new pickup truck to the U.S. If you're following semi-trucks, Mack just released their new Pioneer truck, and it actually looks super rad. The new Pioneer has a lineup of the MP13 turbo diesel engines. Power ranges between 415 and 500 horsepower, and torque is between 1,500 and 1,950 pound-feet. There's a 12, 13, or 14-speed automated manual transmission, and the Pioneer, according to Mack, is around 11% more efficient. If you look at it, you can just see how much aero has been put into it. So they basically mix aerodynamics, engine efficiency, transmission efficiency, axle ratios, all that stuff, and they created apparently one of the most fuel-efficient semi-trucks in its class, and it looks like it'll be available in a 4x2 configuration, 6x2, 6x4. Lots of fun playing if you go to the Mack Pioneer online configurator on Mack's website. So it'll start being made in the next couple of months, and that replaces Mack's former top of the line, which is the Anthem. Apparently the Anthem will still be made, but the Pioneer is going to be the new top dog, if you will. And one fun thing of note is when you look at it from an aerodynamic standpoint, even the tall 76-inch sleeper cab, the sides are smooth. The way that the channels are made in the cab, the body lines, even the way the cooling is done on the hood. But the thing that everybody will probably notice first is you want to see the Mack dog, right? How aerodynamic can the Mack dog really be? Well, apparently the Pioneer has a really aerodynamic one because Mack's chief designer Lucas Yates said at the launch event that the Mack Bulldog on the nose is an integral part of the truck's performance, not just an emblem. Everything's focused on function, not just there for styling. And if you look at it, the dog is really cool looking. It sits in the center of the hood at the leading edge. It's down further, and it's basically splits the airstream into two ducts that are on the hood. And it's interesting because the way that it sits is that there's a dip behind it. So the dog looks like it's ready to pounce out from the grill or right from on top of the grill. It's not just sitting up on the hood. Like it's kind of buried in the bodywork a little bit. And the dog itself looks fucking awesome. So anyway, go to Mack's website, play with the configurator and learn all about it and see Mack's new aerodynamic dog on the hood. I think that's going to be the most stolen hood ornament left. I mean, who has rolls? Who else has hood ornaments? Obviously Mack. But this new one, if you're a collector of Mack dogs and Mack hood ornaments, you want this one. This one's cool. He looks like he's just leaning into the wind, and the fact that they made it aerodynamic is pretty rad. For those of you who love historical vehicles, we talked about the General Motors Futureliner. So if you don't know, GM's Futureliner was made in the 40s, and they were styled by legendary GM stylist Harley Earl as part of General Motors' Parade of Progress, and it was a exhibition of technologies and engineering that went from town to town throughout the U.S. and North America. And it had demonstrations and lectures that talked about things like jet engines and radar, TV, kind of the technology of the day. And it was staffed by college graduates, and they drove these things around. And they're super cool. They're unmistakable. They're 30 feet long, 8 feet wide, and over 11 feet tall. And the driver sat on the upper level in the center, basically on top of the front axle, or maybe even a little bit forward of it. And they're powered by 4-cylinder diesel engines, manual transmissions. So 12 were made. We think 9 exist. There's a bunch of websites with the history of the Futureliner. Maybe one of the podcast episodes we can track down somebody in the know, because that would be a great episode on the story of all these Futureliners. But there was one that was for sale. We think that the one that I'm talking about here was number 7. It was fitted with a new Detroit diesel engine, but the original drivetrain was included when it was bought. The asking price was $998,900. Somebody bought it and paid about $925,000 for it, and they put it through $1 million of renovations and basically tore it down, even from the 90s, the way it was, and built it back up. Well, the cool thing is the buyer is apparently an LA-based entrepreneur who owns the quote-unquote Caretakers collection. This is a collection of notable vehicles, 65 cars, 30 motorcycles, 12 go-karts. But this is what I'm excited about. The collector plans to display the newly restored GM Futureliner right here in Southern California at the Peterson Automotive Museum. And it should be there by December of this year. The Peterson is an amazing automotive museum down the street, basically down Wilshire, from the Peterson publishing offices. And it is one of the coolest car museums in North America. So if you ever come to SoCal, if you live here, if you've never been to the Peterson, go to the Peterson Museum, but maybe wait till December so you can see the Futureliner in person. I've never seen one in person. I've read a lot about them. I'm interested in the history. It's really cool. But yeah, go to the Peterson. I plan on going there because I think it's going to be really cool to see, especially with a fresh reno. For those of you guys who like to follow auctions, here's a good one for you. This one's ending Friday, April 11th. So right after this show airs on bringatrailer.com, check it out. 2003 Ram 3500 SLT quad cab dually 4x4. 6-speed manual. Cummins. 15,000 miles. It's really clean. I love browsing Bring a Trailer. I love just going through the photos, and since Ford won't bring us the Ranger Super Duty, I guess I'm back to Bring a Trailer looking at stuff. By the way, thank you to everybody who's been sending me all sorts of really cool things up for auction and fun low mileage trucks. It's really cool to see. I appreciate all of you. Okay, 15,000 actual miles. This is a 5.9 truck, so 250 horsepower, 460 pound-feet of torque. And again, manual. It's got a limited slip differential. And this one's in bright white, but it has the sport appearance package. So that means painted bumpers and painted grille. It's got the chrome wheels on it. And, of course, the flip-up towing mirrors. Kudos to whoever's selling it because the mirrors are in the down position since there's no invisible trailer behind it. So on the inside, it's got the dark slate gray cloth interior with the 40-20-40 bench seat, the way God intended it. It's got the split folding rear bench on it. And this one's got cruise control, AC, WeatherTech front floor mats, power windows, and AM, FM, CD. And it's got the cool white gauges from that era that the Rams had. So anyway, it's a clean Florida title, damage-free Carfax report. I'm going to be interested to see what this thing goes for on Bring a Trailer on Friday. And maybe one of our listeners will end up with it. But anyway, love checking out the auctions. This one's a good one for you Ram fans out there. Getting a little more rare to find a work truck like this with such low mileage on it. This one could be cool for somebody. All right, got a couple reports on sales. Full-size pickup truck Q1 sales reports are in, and it's kind of interesting. Ford is way up over Q1 of 2024. They sold 190,389 Ford F-Series. That means it's 24.5% over Q1 of 2024. So that's a huge jump. GMC Sierra is also up. It went to 78,541 from 68,594. That's a jump of 14.5%. And basically everybody else is down. Ram's way down 11.8%. Toyota's down 1.8%. Ford F-150 Lightning's down 7.2%. GM trucks combined, if you take Chevy and GMC together, are up 5.1%. Silverado was only a 0.1, so that's all GMC Sierra is doing right there. Went from 196,160 units to 206,222, which beats Ford by about 15,000 or so. If you combine the two, of course, everybody does their marketing different. So GM says they're two different brands, and so does Ford. So Ford is still the best-selling pickup truck through the beginning of this year. On an interesting note, the Hummer EV sold 3,479. It was up 108%. In the Silverado EV, which is coming online, starting to see a lot more of those in the GMCs. And actually, the GMCs and the higher trims look pretty damn nice. 2,383, and that's up 124.6%. So check that out. And moving over to Toyota, the Tacoma has already moved 59,825 of them through the first quarter of this year. That's a massive amount. That is, I think if you took that number and you looked at all the vehicles that don't sell that in a year, it's a lot of them. So no surprise, Tacomas are doing what Tacomas do, and that's leaving dealer lots. And I've seen them all over SoCal. I'm sure that you guys have probably seen them all over as well. All right, well, that'll do it for this episode of Have You Heard? Don't forget to follow us on social at Truck Show Podcast. Hit us up in the emails, truckshowpodcast@gmail.com, or leave a message on the 5-star hotline, 657-205-6105, and I will see you next time.
The Truck Show Podcast is a production of Truck Famous LLC. This podcast was created by Sean Holman and Jay Tillis, hosted by Sean Holman, and uses production elements by DJ Omar Khan and Jay Tillis. If you like what you've heard, please open your Apple Podcast or Spotify app and leave us a 5-star review. And if you're a fan, there's no better way to support the show than by sharing it and patronizing our sponsors. Some vehicles may have been harmed during the making of this podcast.
And Ford, one more time, please. If you don't bring the Ranger Super Duty to the U.S., I'm going to send Emmy after you.
Go right to hell with that.